Hi everybody, today we're in Albuquerque, New Mexico with Paul Gessing of the Rio Grande Foundation. And well, thanks for joining us here on the Motorhome Diaries.
Thanks, Jason.
Actually, we're joining you in your backyard.
Yes, we are. And it's raining.
In the desert.
In the desert. So, we need the rain. That's always a good thing.
So, yeah, we've had a nice time. We just hung out when we were at the Atlas Forum in Los Angeles, and then a week later we're driving through. You've been very hospitable. You let us hang out here, and then you're hosting a meetup for us for local libertarians.
Right, thanks. And we're going to hope that several people show up and celebrate your guys' visit to New Mexico, a state that's not necessarily a liberty haven, but we are trying to improve, and it's a good place to live, very high quality of life, and we just have too much government in New Mexico, just like so many other states.
Yeah, definitely. So we always like to ask, how did you find freedom in this unfree world of ours?
It's a long story, but I'll give you a few cliff notes. I always felt uncomfortable with both the right and the left, both politically and personally. I never really felt like I fit in with the lefty hippies in college. I consider myself a man of the left in college, but the thing that really pushed me in the direction of liberty was actually reading a book by John Lee Anderson about Che Guevara, the leftist revolutionary. And I realized from reading that book that he was very principled in what he believed, but he had to enforce his societal norms through force, and that was against human nature. It was really against human nature to be that selfless and to give equal fashion. Equality is not the state of humanity. We're all different in different ways. And he had used that force in very cruel and ruthless ways. And I realized from reading that kind of society was doomed to failure, and that socialism ultimately was doomed to failure. So that's really it. And then I read Atlas Shrugged, and that kind of crystallized it a lot more, and just kept on reading different things and got involved and worked with the National Taxpayers Union, and that's how I got my start in the liberty movement.
Tell us about the state of freedom in New Mexico.
Well, the Mercatus Center did an excellent report on freedom and found that basically New Mexico is a fairly unfree state when it comes to the economy and making money and holding on to your money. We're relatively free on issues of personal liberty and social freedoms, I guess you'd call them. We're working to preserve the social freedoms and expand upon the economic freedoms. It's a challenging thing because New Mexico has a very unique history, and it's got an influence that I think lends itself to bigger government. Then you have a lot of federal land, military bases, and just a lot of reliance on federal government that's grown up over the years and holds us back from being a more liberty-oriented place to be.
Tell me about some of the victories you and your team have had.
Our biggest victory, well, two. One was passage of significant and very strong eminent domain restrictions. Most of your viewers are going to be familiar with the Kilo versus New London and all that. New Mexico really had no eminent domain protections to speak of, and after that that law was, or that decision on the Supreme Court's part, we worked very hard to get strong eminent domain protections, and we did. IJ gave us, I think, A- or something on our report card
for the state, right?
Yeah. So we have good eminent domain laws. That's something I'm proud of. And also, the mayor of Albuquerque proposed a massive streetcar, taxpayer-financed. We have a pretty good bus system for being a western city here in New Mexico, and we just didn't need it. It was totally absurd. It was going to just benefit a very small group of people, and we really took the lead in beating that back. And we've made headlines nationally as a state for our political corruption. You know, Governor Richardson was going to be Commerce Secretary, and then he got caught up in it. Our Attorney General has been written about in the pages of the Wall Street Journal. We have former Senator Pro Tem who's in jail now for corruption. New Mexico has a very strong history of corruption. Right up there with an Illinois or one of those more well-known states, and so it's that attitude that they're going to abuse the system. So we don't want to tell people about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm also interested in hearing about some of the strategies that you implement. Like, what has worked for you? I know you guys have a strong media operation, which is impressive with the size of your staff. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, we try. We have a community blog, NewMexicoLiberty.com, which is getting a lot of traffic from some prominent political movers and shakers. And it's just, I blog on it regularly because I blog on our own blog, which is arrowsoфenchantment.com, and so I cross-post on that. But then New Mexico Liberty is open to anyone who wants to blog. And you could have total left-wingers on there. You can have whoever you want. It's not a policy of the Rio Grande Foundation that we're putting on there. It's a communication tool for everybody.
It's a social network,
yes,
essentially, where you can blog, you have forums,
right.
User profiles.
And you can alert people to events like having you guys in town. And we do a New Mexico Votes website, which tracks our legislative votes. We've got a lot of presence in both the online and in the mainstream media. We've got the radio show, which you guys were a part of, and it's podcast on our website. It's an hour long each week, and yeah, it's really exciting, especially for an organization of our limited size and capacity as far as financial resources. We're able to do all these things, and it's technological growth is helping us out.
Well, it's good. It's exciting to see because as people that love freedom, we need to build the biggest megaphones possible and have articulate voices behind those. And Paul Gessing, I'm glad you're one of them.
Thanks, Jason.
We would like to thank the Atlas Foundation for advancing freedom around the world by sponsoring the Motorhome Diaries, and for their support of organizations like the Rio Grande Foundation.